What is going on, guys? Justin Schollard here, owner of Carbon Fitness Method, and today we're going to dig into how to stay sexy on vacation without being boring, because we all know how to be boring. We can just eat chicken breast and broccoli and not have any fun, not have any drinks, and just stay in our hotel room, and that would be a very boring vacation. But we're not here to do that. We're here to learn how we can enjoy our lives, make fitness and nutrition a lifestyle, not something that's so rigid that as soon as you're outside of your element, it all goes to shit. The whole point here is to learn how to navigate through life's inevitabilities, like vacations, like birthdays, like holidays, like weekends for that matter. And I want you to look at this quick presentation we're about to do as a framework that you can use in any of those situations. So this context is vacation because it's July and it's summer and we're traveling, but you could really use this for anything. If you are going on a long weekend, if you have holiday with the in-laws, like the same frameworks apply. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into how to stay sexy on vacation. All right, so first things first, team. The key to anything in life, the key to any success in life is preparation. And so what I want you to do is just take a second before you go and think about how many days you're going to be away. What restaurants will you be going to, or do you think that you'll be going to? Is there going to be a gym at the hotel, or are we going to have to bring some resistance bands with us, or just do some body weight exercises in the hotel? All that's fine. There's no wrong answer, but we just want to know so we can start to plant the seeds and start to prepare for our vacation. Is this going to be an adventure vacation? Are you going to be exploring a city? Are you going to be doing like cave exploring or rock climbing or hiking, or is it going to be like a beach vacation where we're just going to be sitting at a cabana all day? All these kind of factor into the game plan we want to create for your trip. And will there be enough healthy food? Is this going to be like a food trip where you're in Italy and you're just eating your way through the city? Or are we going to kind of be more remote where food is kind of less of the point, all these things are super important so we can just set you up for success. That might mean bringing some resistance bands. That might mean bringing a bag of protein powder with you. And that might feel like a foreign concept to some of you, but you also have to realize that if you're not where you want to be with your health and fitness yet, then there's a blind spot. And the belief systems and the identities that you're possessing right now around what should or shouldn't be may not be true, especially if you're not where you want to be in your life. So have an open mind when you consider these concepts of bringing protein powder with you or bringing resistance bands with you. It's not a terrible thing to adopt the habits and traits of people who are where you want to be, So, okay, let's move on. So let's go ahead. First things first, guys. We're going to go into food. All right, so let's tackle the food portion of this first, and then we'll go into the exercise portion of this. And if you stay to the end, I have a little bonus for you if you watch all the way to the end here, a little freebie. So what I like to recommend to all of our clients is to basically have protein and coffee for breakfast. And so a lot of times, especially if you're like at a resort or something, you might have a big buffet, you might have like a huge spread for breakfast. I would encourage you to not mow down during breakfast. And the only caveat to that would be if you are going on like an adventure trip, and like the bus is picking you guys up at like 8 a.m. and so you have to scarf down breakfast before you go and like hike or, like rock climbing or whatever. In that case, yeah, obviously eat breakfast. That's a different scenario. But for most folks, if it's just going to be like a beach vacation or if we're just going to be exploring a city, I highly recommend you skip a big breakfast and just go for like a protein shake and coffee. The reason is that it stands to reason that we're probably going to have a big dinner out. You're probably going to have drinks and dinners out. And this is where things go awry, is that we have a big breakfast, we have a big lunch, we have a big dinner, and you're eating 3,000-4,000 calories a day when your body can probably only burn 2,000 at most effectively. And so this is where, if we want to come back from that vacation, if we want to stay thin and keep those tummies flat and not bloated while we're on vacation, this is the secret, okay? So we're going to push off breakfast as long as we can, and or just have coffee and like a protein shake. Think of this as kind of like a intermittent fasting take. I don't think the intermittent fasting is the end all be all, and I don't really necessarily recommend it to our clients. However, in this context, it can be really helpful to just push off that first meal, especially if you know you're going to be going out that night and having a big dinner, okay? Essentially what we're doing is we're just reallocating the calories that we would have eaten at breakfast, that bagel, that omelet, that scone. We're reallocating those calories to dinner because we know that probably if we were to say ahead of time that dinner might be a slightly more important, especially just socially and, you know, as far as like our vacation goes, than that breakfast might be. Like if you've had one omelet, you've had 1,000, you can probably skip the omelet, but like the nice restaurant out for dinner is probably a little bit higher on the priority. So that's what I want you guys to do for breakfast. Now, moving on. Okay, lunch. So lunch, here's what we're gonna do. I want lunch to be kind of a bigger meal because this is gonna fuel you. You probably, if you follow this method, you probably haven't had that big of a breakfast. And so think of lunch as we're gonna do our best to keep it clean. You don't have to track anything, you don't have to measure anything necessarily, but just kind of like eyeball. And I always recommend the hand method. So down here, you'll see the hand method to our clients. And so essentially, that's going to look like, guys, is your plate, I want it to model this one here. So I want like a fist-sized portion of protein. I want a fist-sized portion of like a starch. So think potatoes, beans, rice, quinoa, bread. Those are all starches. I want a fist-sized portion of starch because that's essentially going to be your energy source for the rest of the day. And then I want a fist-sized portion of veggie. So avoid the sloppy foods. Avoid like the burgers and the pizza and lasagnas and the burritos and the pastas because it's really difficult to know how many calories are in there. But if your plate looks like this, and if you are interested in staying sexy, as the title of this presentation suggests, then I want your plates to look like this. Keep it clean. There should be space between each food, not just covered in sauce and oils, but just like a clean piece of protein, a clean handful of veggie, and a clean fist-sized portion of a starch. If you do this, I promise you will be so happy with yourself later on when dinner does come. Now, speaking of, let's go ahead and move on. Afternoon snack. So what I recommend is if you're going out of the country or just traveling around, bring these with you. Just buy a box of these for $20 and throw a case or 5 or 6 of these, however many days you're going to be gone, just throw one for whatever amount of days you're gone inside of your bag. So you can just have it ready to rock and roll. A good rule of thumb is under 200 calories and 20 grams of protein. So these are all more or less along those lines, around 200 calories each and 20 grams of protein. Super convenient. This is your afternoon snack. Another thing you could do is, if you wanted, is you could have a second shake if you want to get some extra credit and not have any carbs for your afternoon snack. But this is probably what I would do. Is just have a protein bar, okay? And now, last but not least, dinner. So now, this is where the fun happens. And so with dinner, here's how we're gonna do it. I want you to stick to protein and veggies only. So we had our carbs for lunch, we had some carbs in our afternoon snack and our protein bar, and we're going to be presumably drinking some alcohol, and so you're going to get your carbohydrates from the alcohol you're going to consume. And so just in the spirit of keeping you lean and sexy during your trip, we're going to omit carbohydrates from your dinner plate and just go for the protein and the veggies. Okay, so this plate right here is a good example. So plenty of food, a nice big piece of protein, some good veggies, some grilled whatever. Make it like a skewer, whatever you can find on the menu. Look ahead of time. Just do your best here. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the idea is that we're saving the energy from the carbohydrates that we would have had on our plate for the 1, 2, 3 glasses of wine or for the cocktail that you probably are going to want to have. And so this is how we kind of like navigate the best of both worlds. We can have a little fun. We can enjoy the company of our friends or family or loved ones, whoever we're traveling with. We can still go out and partake and have dinner and have drinks, but we're just keeping an extra layer of attention on the actual food choices that we're making so that we don't go from what could have been a 2,000 calorie day to like a 4,000 calorie day. And that might seem extreme, but I'm telling you, as a weight loss coach for over 20 years, it happens like that. Like you just eating a big breakfast, having a big lunch, having some snacks throughout the day, having a big dinner and drinks that could easily be 3, 4, 5,000 calories in a single day. And after a week-long vacation, that could be 2 or 3 extra pounds of body fat on you by the time you come home, which would be a bummer for everyone. So the way we do that is we just keep our breakfast clean, protein and coffee. Our lunch is a good square healthy meal with a starch, a veggie, and a protein. We have an afternoon snack with our protein bar. And then dinner, we're just going to omit carbohydrate from our plates, have a good slab of protein and some veggie, and then we're going to save those calories that we didn't eat during breakfast and dinner for our drinks. And that is the way we can have fun, have a few drinks, enjoy our life without just completely blowing our progress we've made leading up to that vacation, right? Now, when it comes to the actual cocktails you're going to be drinking, just avoid the sugary ones. Like don't fall into like the super sweet, sugary beach kind of cocktails. Go for like a whiskey soda or a sour soda or a vodka soda, or, light beer, something that's a little bit lower cal, just a glass of wine, but sometimes these crazy sugary like pina coladas and daiquiris, they can have 400 calories versus just having a glass of wine that's only like 130 calories. You know what I mean? So again, everything matters. One of the biggest mistakes I see with folks is they think, all or nothing kind of thinking. It doesn't matter. I've already had one sugary drink. I might as well have 3. I've already blown one day and been off track. I might as well say screw it and enjoy the rest of the 5 days, but fitness is not a binary. Fitness is a continuum, and the degree to which you participate matters, and everything adds up. And so always challenge your conditioned responses on, it doesn't matter, who cares, screw it. Because it does matter, and anything is better than nothing. And even just like pulling back a little bit can make a big difference in your body composition over time. Okay. So anyway, so that wraps up the food portion here. And now let's move into exercise and how we're going to train or just keep ourselves moving on vacation so we can just kind of maintain our progress. First things first, guys, if you don't have a step tracker, I recommend picking one up. You can get one for like $20 on Amazon, or just do your best to keep your phone in your pocket while you're away. But you want to aim for 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Depending on the type of travel you're going to be doing, that could be very easy. Like if you're going to go on like a trip where you're exploring a city, I've done those and I'll clock in 15, 20,000 steps sometimes. So depending on the kind of vacation you're going to be going on, that might be very easy to hit. But if you are going to be more like at an inclusive resort or kind of like on a remote island somewhere, there's not a lot of, foot traffic, then just always opt to walk somewhere. So if it's like a quarter mile away or a half mile away and you could take a cart or an Uber, just walk. Just take the opportunity to get the extra activity in whenever you can. If it is one of those beach vacations, like we were just in, where were we? Puerto Rico. And it was like an all-inclusive resort. There was like nothing to do. And so we had to make a point to book a walking tour of a local rainforest trail with a guide. And it was really inexpensive, but it was an amazing way to just like get up, get out of the resort, go on a trip, explore a beautiful part of the world we wouldn't have seen otherwise with an expert. And those are everywhere. You can get those kind of like walking tours or bike tours anywhere you go. And so I highly recommend you can take a very relaxing trip and just add a little activity, and it's going to enhance just your experience overall and give your body a little bit extra incentive to keep those calories burning. You know what I mean? And then, just make a point to move a little bit each day. And yeah, like I said, look for those tours. That would be a great start as far as just like a baseline of daily activity. But now let's take it one step further, and we'll go into some actual working out strategies here. So if there is a hotel gym, then I would say keep it super, super simple. Like don't try to like depending on your fitness level, if you're crazy fit and you understand programming and you understand progressive overload, then fantastic. Like, go ahead and crush your workouts like you normally would. However, if you're not there and maybe we're a little bit more beginner intermediate and consistency is the most important thing right now, don't overthink it. Think of just like doing a full body workout, like 3 sets of squats, 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of dumbbell bicep curls, 3 sets of lat bar pull downs, just basic. It's not about progressing and getting stronger and building a bunch of muscle on this week. It's just about not breaking the chain of habit. Being consistent, adopting this identity of the person that you want to become, and the person who might be 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds lighter than you are right now that you're trying to become, but probably make a point to work out a little bit on vacation, right? And so it's just kind of getting that mindset shift of what would the better version of myself do? I'll give you an example. Like for me, when I go on vacation, I love working out. Like if I'm going to be gone for a week, I'll try to get at least like maybe every other day kind of workout, depending on the type of trip. Maybe I'll go every morning, but I keep it super simple. Like it's just about like a basic push, pull, leg. Maybe this one day I'll do 30 minutes of like a pushing exercise, like shoulders and chest and arms. The next day I'll do 30 minutes of like back exercises, like rows, lat pulls. And then maybe the third day I'll do like a leg workout, squats, lunges, that kind of thing. And then I'll just rotate through that. I don't try to like hit PRs or push it. I just try to show up, get my heart rate up a little bit, get moving, break a little sweat, and then I can enjoy the rest of my day. Okay, so if there is no gym, same rules apply. Bodyweight exercises are great. Again, like I was saying in the beginning, don't be afraid to just throw a resistance band in your bag. It takes up 0 space, and you can just knock out like a really great hotel type workout with your resistance bands and bodyweight exercises. An example of a really simple one would just be 5 rounds of 10 to 20 squats, push-ups, and sit-ups. If you had a resistance band, you could throw pull-aparts or front raises in there. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just pick 3 exercises, one for your arms, one for your back, one for your legs, and then just knock out a few rounds of 10 to 20 reps. And again, it's just about keeping that momentum going. Pro tip, guys, don't wait until the moment you're about to work out to try to figure it out. Like, take a second to just jot down 3 15 to 30 minute workouts before you go, so that way you have some sort of a game plan, so you're not just going in blind, sitting there for 20 minutes trying to think of it, getting frustrated. Now the time that you've allotted to work out is already up and you haven't even written your workout out yet, and you're just like, screw it. So take the extra step and just try to map it out ahead of time. Or bonus, if you want, I put together a free back pocket travel workout guide. In this little guide here, we got 4 easy to follow workouts, a little motivation. Every workout has linked demonstration videos for all the exercises, and it's totally free. So if you're interested in this, you can just click the button up here, and you can grab your copy, or maybe the button's down here. There'll be a button somewhere in this video. You can just click it, grab it, download your free copy of the book, and go on your travels in style, my friends. So there you have it. That would be your How to Stay Sexy While Traveling guide, and I will check you all later. Peace.